Hey artists, we're gonna go through our Stars and Stripes door hanger here, and one thing I want to note, the very first thing you want to do is find that dot to your eye, because we don't want to lose that. Put that somewhere safe. I'm going to set it just inside of my ampersand, and what I want to go through is just undoing your box so you have a flat surface to work on. So you just flip up, reach from under here and flip up the inside fold. Okay. And then same thing over on this side. Just flip up that inside fold, and then it's gonna all flip out and lay nice and flat for you. Okay, and we're gonna start with our background like we always do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the all of the stars off and set them over here to the side, and my words. And one other thing that I wanted to mention this time is I'm going to do a hybrid of some pieces with sticky on the back, the stuff that you peel off, like this. If you see this 300 on here, that's something that you peel off. But then also some of my pieces are not going to have that. And the reason I'm doing that is because Cratejoy is coming out with variant pricing, and I want to give you guys the option of either using glue on your signs or having the adhesive on the back. So I'm going to do both to kind of give you an idea of how they both work. And then if you want to, if you're already a subscriber, those are going to go, I'm going to send out just an email, and you can opt in or opt out to the adhesive. And if you opt out, I'll send you some glue, and you can glue your pieces like I'm going to show you how to do here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to paint our background with the dark blue color. You only got red, white, and blue, so for the background I always just squirt my paint directly onto my board, and I work in small sections. So I'm going to do the top section. Use your large brush and work that in, work from the inside out. Sure I'm not blocking your view here. Okay, come down to your next section. One of the supplies that I say that you can have is a damp rag. And one of the techniques, especially when you're using chalk paint, is to use a damp rag or a baby wipe, and you can go over your paint with that and kind of spread it around, and it's going to give it sort of a white washed look. It's going to make your paint go a little bit further, but you're also not going to have like an opaque finish. So a couple of things to just keep in mind. The other thing you want to keep in mind is that your paint is going to dry really, really fast. So that's a good thing. So you're not waiting around for stuff to dry. And we're going to go through our stripes on this are going to be sort of a distressed white stripe. So I say it every video, I say it every single month. I'm not concerned with a perfect finish. Certainly if you want a neater coverage, just do that second coat. I am just about finished here, and I've still probably got about half of that bottle of paint left, so there's definitely enough to go back over with a second coat if that's what you want to do. Okay, so then I'm going to go back over and just make my swipes all sort of uniform. It's really, so much of the board gets covered by your pieces that it's really not, this is not necessary to go back over your strokes, but you certainly can, and I'm going to, just to show that if you'd like to, you can, and what it looks like. A few spots on the edge where my fingerprints got, so I'm just going to cover those up. Here. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is that you have your dots up here at the top of your box, and those are going to be great for squirting your paint to paint your pieces. Just kind of like a little palette. So you've always used the inside of your box, and now we've just made it a little bit easier to organize your pieces. So I'm going to set out some of the things that I want to do in red. I'm going to do red first. And I'm going to do a mix of red and white stars. If you wanted to do red letters and only white stars, that's fine. I am going to do, I think I'm just going to do my little stars red, the smallest stars. So you have 3 different sizes. So I'm going to do the smallest stars in red, and I'm going to set these over to the side. I'm going to do those in white. So just kind of put all your pieces flat together. Get one of your wedges, shake up your red paint, and you can use, I'm probably going to use this box over and over and over again. I'm not going to lie, I don't like to waste, so I'm going to use the bag that my supplies were in, or that your supplies came in to squirt my paint, but use your box. You're going to throw it away. I'm going to get a new one every month. I'm going to reuse this one because I don't have to replace it. Okay, so just keep, as always, with your wedges, you want to dab, 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 and the tip of your wedge should look pretty dry before you start putting it down onto your piece. And then you're going to dip and dab, 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 and just use a quick, even pressure all over your pieces. And the other optional supply that's on your list is tape. If you want to use tape for this part, how I'm holding it down, you can put tape down on the inside of your box, and your pieces are going to be held down in place for you. Nice, light, even pressure. It's going to give you those crisp, clean edges. Light paint, light dabs. And I am missing my dot and my ampersand that I told you to keep safe. Let me do that right now. Okay. better to do a light coat, one light coat and go back over it, than to do a heavy, do 2 coats than to do a heavy 1 coat. You're gonna like the end result much better if you've stuck to doing a light coat. I find that 1 light coat is all you really need. I might go back at the end and touch up a few places as needed, but I don't feel that a 2nd coat is necessary overall. Close. This project should go by pretty quickly for you, given that it's only 3 colors. And you just group everything together that you do. This is a tip for all of your projects that you get, especially if you do the tier tray kits. Group everything together that's going to be 1 color, and it's going to make it go by a lot faster, and just that planning portion at the beginning is going to help you stay organized throughout. So just stack all your pieces together that are going to be 1 color, and work through them that way. I've always done it like that, and the first time I was painting with friends years ago, they were like, what color should we do this? And then they decide, and then they get to the point where they were ready to paint that, and they couldn't remember what color they decided. And so it's good to, I think, point out, because I don't know that everybody has a different way of doing it. So if you have a better organization, that's great. But if you're struggling with that, that's one little tip that can help you. I'm outside and have a mosquito flying around me. There we go. Okay, that's all the red, so I'm going to move these up here to dry. Pretty much already dry, but okay, then we have our white stars. For these bigger ones, I'm actually just going to squirt paint right onto them and spread it around. I will say white paint, you can see the strokes easier. So if there is a color that you want to do a second coat on, white's probably going to be it. I'm going to be careful with your fingers with white too. When you have the other colors of paint on them, it can transfer to your white pieces really easily. So just be mindful of that. If you have a baby wipe or that damp rag, or you want to go wash your hands, that will help. Wedge has absorbed enough white paint at this point. I probably won't. I can probably just paint the smaller stars using the paint that's already inside of my wedge. Over another coat on this one that I did first. Okay, these last two to go. If you don't feel comfortable squirting directly onto your piece, don't. That dab, dab, dab is, if this is the first time you're doing the kit, just stick with that dab, dab, dab. I just like to give tips for people who are looking for ways to maybe do a little bit faster. So if this is your first time, just until you kind of get the hang of how far your paint goes and that sort of thing, do this dab, dab, dab. So just when you put down your paint, spread it around so that you can easily go back to it without dabbing into the blob again. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, and let's see. Got a couple places on here that I want to go over. These are all already dry, so can do a second coat already. And that's it. We are all painted except for we're going to come back and do stripes on the blue background. So either using your box or your little bag that your supplies came in, take your same paintbrush and you're going to dip just the tips of your paintbrush into your white paint, okay? And then kind of dab it off. Okay, and we're gonna do straight, try just as straight as you can, just some stripes across the board. So I'm gonna start over here and just drag across my board. One side, just dragging across, the other way. Does not need to be perfect. Like I said, you're going to cover most of your board. I'm going to come through with my brush this way and just do some darker white lines some, for some variation in the color. One more stripe down here at the bottom. The edges are mostly what shows, so I like to make sure that when I'm doing these little added extra things that I make sure and do some right on the edges. Details is the word I was looking for. Y'all, I have a baby who is not sleeping all that awesome right now, so it appears I'm struggling for words today. There, thank you for bearing with me. Okay, I think I'm just about happy with that. Not just about, I'm happy. I love it. It's great. All right, so now that's done. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna lay out all of my pieces before I take the adhesive off of anything, just so that I know where everything is going to go and everything is spaced out how I want it, etc. So I kind of designed this to have the words at the closer to the bottom. So I'm going to start with it like this, and then I can obviously change it up if I want to move it closer to the top or whatever. I want to wait a second to give my pieces a moment to dry, so I'm just gonna start laying stuff out and we'll see. Let's see. I could do this for a very long time. So I'm just gonna run with it here. There we go. I think that's random enough for my liking. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to flip over every piece because I don't know which ones were the adhesive and which ones were not. So let me take a look at it from higher up and just make sure. Yes, okay, I like it. I like it, I like it. All right, so this is adhesive. Just peel and stick. Super easy, but also on a big chunk like this, it is the easiest. So, okay, this is not peel and stick. So I'm using a product called Stick Fast. It's super glue, basically. I like the big jar. I like how quickly it dries. The adhesion is really good. It's already pretty dry, but I do have a little bit of work time. So I know super glue, pretty much the second it hits your piece, you're stuck with where it is. So I like Stick Fast for that reason. You have, like I said, you've got a little bit more work time. Another adhesive. So as far as timing, it doesn't, you know, both ways are fast and easy. If you're wondering why it's even a question, I just, the adhesive makes me feel better. When I ship stuff out, I'm not worried about what if the super glue leaks, or what if when they open it, it all squirts out like super glue has a tendency to do, and you know, then they can't do their project. The other thing is, I keep saying super glue, but what y'all get is wood glue. The other thing with wood glue is it can be messy. If you use too much, it's gonna, you know, squeeze out around your edges. And then obviously if you don't use enough, it's going to impact the durability of your pieces, of your signs. So, and this is a good, so I think one of my words is this is not, does not have adhesive, and the other one does. So this is a good example of where adhesive would really shine, because doing this like this is not easy. If I don't lay it down correctly, it's gonna leave marks behind. But again, if you don't it's gonna leave marks behind, but I have the option of taking it up. If you try to take up that, your pieces that have the adhesive on them, it's not gonna work out too well. It's probably gonna break. They're not, that adhesive is very strong and permanent very quickly, so it's not made for work time. Now, for stars, it does have the adhesive on the back already. What I will say, when you're trying to peel it up, start at a spot that's a little bit thicker and begin peeling. What you want to do is peel the paper away from the piece. Don't try to bend the piece away from the paper, if that makes sense. If you are doing that, you understand what I'm saying. If you're not, you probably have a puzzled look on your face. A lot of times people will try to bend the piece away from the paper, and you don't want to do that. You're going to end up breaking your piece. It's not the end of the world because you just stick it on your board and it looks stuck back together because both pieces are stuck down really well, but it's not ideal. So fold your piece, you know, up close to the area that you're pulling. Keep your hand, you know, follow along the piece holding the wood and the paper backing close by to prevent sort of torquing your piece more than you need to. Just provide that support to your piece. All right. Let's see. Down gently so I have a little bit of wiggle room. That's good. I'm going to press it down and we are done. I think, if I didn't forget anything. The moment of truth. Oh, I did forget this little star up here. So glue this guy down and then we'll do our bow and we're all set. Okay, so this month your bow came so you have your red background, white and blue stripes, red and blue stripes, and your hearts. And then I'm going to lay down the longer piece of just the thin blue, the sheer blue ribbon that you received, get it lined up. And then I'm gonna wrap this around a couple of times so I have sort of a thicker tie in the middle. And you want to kind of pinch this center. And tie it once to get, so I can tighten it down, and then I'm gonna wrap it around. So make sure all these pieces are centered. Start tightening, then hold it and position these correctly. So I just want to flip these back so that I don't have all my ribbon curled up on top of each other like that. And redo it. But with your twine, make a knot at one end. Okay, so what I want you to do is go ahead and loop this through the back of your board, loop through the back of your board, loop it through your bow. Okay, we're gonna finish our bow in just a moment. Stick this through the back of your board again, or through the front of your board, so you've looped through. Now you have this hanging in the back here. Okay, now tighten this and loop these pieces around in opposite directions. Tie it in a knot at the front. Okay. Then your red and white ribbon does not have, it doesn't have ribbon, wire. So pull those down because they're going to want to hang loose. Okay, and then I want my glue to come up to the top. Okay, these are, all your other ribbon is wired, so you can place it however you'd like. Of my red and white also. Okay, that's how I'd like my bow. You can do your bow however you want. Come back around through the back with your twine. You're gonna just tie a, loop it through that end and then tie these in a knot. Twine is not known for being slick at all, so you really don't, just a knot should be fine. Just tighten it up. You can put a dab of glue on here if you like. It's a little bit overkill, but hey, that is up to you, and you are all set. So it's gonna hang from up here, and you're all done. You can position this to one side if you'd like. You can do it in the middle, so just mess with it on your sign however you'd like. And you're all set. As always, reach out if you guys have any questions, issues, concerns, what have you. I love to hear from you guys. Thanks.